The longest arch in North America, 306 feet across, 6 feet wide at its thinnest, and it's falling apart. This is Landscape Arch. In 1991, tourists standing at the base of this arch heard a cracking sound. Then they watched a 60-foot slab of rock break off and crash to the ground. I'll tell you the rest of that story in a minute. This is the Landscape Arch Trail. I'll also do a little side trip to Tunnel Arch and Pine Tree Arch Spur, and we are in Arches National Park in Utah. This hike is about 2.5 miles round trip if you include the side trip to this other smaller arches, and it's about 2 miles round trip if you just go straight to Landscape Arch and back. Elevation gain of about 250 feet, 45 minutes to an hour and a half. I would rank this as easy. It's pretty flat unless you go in the winter and it's a little bit icy. And you can get to see three arches along the way. You can see Tunnel Arch, Pine Tree Arch, and Landscape Arch. This is one of the easiest and most rewarding hikes in any national park. Flat trail, you get three arches, and you get to see a geologic formation that might not exist in 50 years. Under an hour if you're quick, but give yourself some time to take pictures and kind of enjoy it. Or you can even go and do the full loop if you're feeling ambitious. Who is this hike for? This hike is really for everyone families, beginners, people short on time, photographers, anyone visiting arches, really. This would be one of the main hikes to do. Families with kids, it's a wide, flat trail. It's really cool. They'll be able to check everything out, and it's not too long a hike. First time hikers or non hikers, basically just a walk. It's not anything super hardcore. I mean, it is a dirt trail, but nothing too bad. For photographers, this whole park is amazing. I mean, most national parks are amazing in general, but Landscape Arch is for sure one of the most photogenic formations in the park. Morning light, some think is best, but you can kind of try your luck at any time of the day. And if you are short on time, if you only have like an hour or so in the park or a couple hours in the park, this is the hike you'd want to do. It's really incredible. So definitely would recommend it. If someone in your group says they don't hike, this is the trail that can kind of change their mind. Flat, easy, and there's a big payoff. So really cool trail, highly recommended. When to go and what kind of crowd levels are you going to experience? So the best seasons for sure in this whole region is going to be spring, which is March through May, and fall, which is pretty much September through November. Summer can be absolutely insanely hot, temperatures exceeding like 100 degrees Fahrenheit with almost no shade most places, and on this trail included with that. Best time of the day, probably I'd say early morning or late afternoon. Two reasons for that. Number one, the Devil's Garden parking lot has about 150 spots, and they do fill up kind of fast, especially on the weekends and especially during peak season. Morning light can be the best for photographing some of these arches or landscape arch in particular. So kind of keep that in mind. Can come in winter, but I would definitely invest in some sort of traction devices for your shoes. And if you go in summer, you really want to go either super early or kind of late in the evening. Even though people might think like, oh, I can't wait to go somewhere warm, the desert can be just like nasty and crazy. But as far as how to dress, I feel like though, if anything, this desert landscape is a very extreme climate. You can get freezing cold temperatures. It can be super windy. It can be super hot too, not a cloud in the sky. You kind of have to prepare for both. It can kind of change overnight too, so keep that in mind. As far as crowd levels, this is for sure the second most popular hike in Arches National Park. Delicate Arch is the most popular. This is number two, so you can definitely expect it to be busy, but don't be too worried. The trail is pretty wide. It can accommodate a lot of people. As long as you can find a parking spot, I say go for it. All right, now we'll do just a little bit of a trail walkthrough. Basically, the first quarter mile, the trail starts at the north end of the parking lot to the right of the restrooms. And immediately you're walking through these beautiful kind of sandstone fins, which are kind of big parallel red rock walls rising above you. Pretty cool trail opening. And you're kind of on hard packed dirt and gravel, wide and well maintained, as I mentioned, very gentle grade. And at a quarter mile, you reach a signed like spur. So you go right or left. So if you want to go left, that will lead you more towards Landscape Arch. If you go to the right, you kind of get some bonus arches that are pretty cool. Tunnel Arch is only about 0.15 miles, like 3/10 of a mile round trip, half a kilometer round trip if you want to go to. And it is pretty cool. So you take a right at that intersection and then take an immediate right, and you're pretty much at Tunnel Arch. That's pretty cool. And then alternatively, if you want to go down to the left, you can go about, I mean, it's about half a mile round trip, quarter mile one way to see Pine Tree Arch. And Pine Tree Arch is pretty cool and it's kind of at ground level and you can actually go underneath it. Pretty cool. And it typically has some shade in there. So I'd recommend checking these two out because they're really easy. It's short and not bad. It's totally worthwhile. All right. And if we go visit those or not, then you're on the main kind of trail spur to Landscape Arch. It's about 7/10 of a mile one way or 1.5 miles round trip from this point. You know, the trail just ascends and kind of descends gradually through some nice little desert scrub. You know, about 8/10 of a mile from the trailhead, there is another junction for the primitive loop. I do have another video that covers the entire primitive loop hike, which is quite different and it's quite long, but you do get to see a lot of arches, which is very cool. If you're interested, I will have a guide on that hike, a shorter guide, as well as the full length hike. So if you want to check that out, I'll put the links down below. Landscape Arch does become visible as you kind of descend into a basin, and it's really enormous and it's really, really cool. I mean, you know, Delicate Arch certainly gets the most fame, being on the bumper sticker, being on the Welcome to Utah sign, and just worldwide, it's the most famous arch. But I don't know, Landscape Arch is also incredible. What do you guys think about it? I'd love to hear your thoughts. What is your favorite arch in the park? So as you kind of see the arch, it's pretty cool. You can walk up and get fairly close to it. You can't go all the way up to the arch. You can go pretty close. You can get a great picture area. I think because of that whole 1991 collapse, they don't want too many people playing around. It is kind of amazing that it can even stand, just how it happened to land this way. I mean, absolutely beautiful and incredible, but certainly fragile too. So, as far as the stats, again, this is about 306 feet across, which is the longest in North America, 77 feet high, and just a measly 6 feet wide at its thinnest point. It was named by Frank Beckwith during a 1933 and 1934 expedition of what was then Arches National Monument, and the Natural Arch and Bridge Society measured the span at 290.1 feet in 2004. Some sources cite 306 feet using a different measurement method. Either way, it's the longest in North America. So, as far as the 1991 collapse, first off, if you do go here, congratulate yourself if you make it before it collapses again. But tourists beneath the arch heard loud cracking and popping sounds, and a 60-foot long, 8-foot wide, and 4.5-foot thick slab of rock broke from the underside of the thinnest section. Apparently, 180 tons of rocks crashed to the ground, and visitors were running. Must have been pretty crazy. I always think of that. Sometimes you see videos like Yellowstone of like the geysers just erupting like crazy, like much more than they normally do. God, that would be scary, but beautiful to see. I guess you kind of cross your fingers that that doesn't happen. There were some additional collapses in 1995. So, really, this is kind of in real time, right? A lot of times when we're talking about rocks and arches, it's over thousands and millions of years. But this one, who knows how long it will last. Definitely would recommend taking a look at it. If you are planning on heading to Arches, please subscribe or like this video. I do have a bunch of other guides about this park as well as other hikes in this area. Amazing place, but especially if you don't have that much time to explore everything, you got to kind of make, you know, do some research, see what is really worth it because you can kind of make the right or wrong call. Well, it's hard to make too wrong a call, but you can definitely make a more right call. So there's that. So there are permits and fees to get into the park. Keep that in mind. In 2026, things have changed quite a bit. It really depends on if you're a US resident or a non US resident. I do have another video about that I'll link down below. It did get a little bit more complicated this year. But anyway, it is paved to get in here. Moab, Utah is the nearest town. It's really quite close. I think it's like 5 miles from the park entrance, which is pretty cool. It can, you know, Moab can get pretty crowded in peak times, but it's only about a few miles away, the entrance. So it's paved the whole way in terms of the road and everything, so that's not bad. Parking here does have 150 spots. You can think like, oh, that sounds like a lot. But this area for sure gets hit with a lot of tourists. So you want to make sure to go early. As I briefly mentioned earlier, there are restrooms at the trailhead. So expect a line maybe during peak hours, but you can use those restrooms if you need them. Remember to stay on trail in this area. I mean, this is kind of true everywhere, but in the desert in particular, there is this biological crust soil. Really just looks like dirt, to be honest. So that's why it can kind of get trampled on pretty easily. So keep a lookout for that. Just kind of textured dirt. It can take hundreds of years for it to grow, but even one step can really set that back. There's no water on the trail at all. So make sure to at least bring 1 liter of water per person, and in the summer, you might want to bring more. I mean, my rule of thumb that I'll always say in these videos is kind of bring a little bit extra, not to just be paranoid or whatever, but in case you're having a really good time and you want to hang out. It's the worst if you get somewhere and you're like, oh, I don't have enough water or enough food to hang out for a while. Just an extra liter of water and a extra few snacks. You can hang out in a beautiful spot, take a break if you're tired, enjoy the awesomeness that's all around you. Cell phone service is certainly unreliable around here. So keep that in mind. No promises there at all. Remember getting a little tiny bit on this loop somewhere, but don't count on that. Gear you'll actually need standard easy day hike. You're only out here going to be out here for probably like an hour or two, as long as you're not doing the full loop. But I would still for sure make sure to have sun protection. Consider a hat, consider sunscreen. Sunglasses, for me, are a must in this area. This trail is fully exposed. Water, I'd bring 1 liter per person at minimum. Again, just to have it in case you get really hot and you don't drink it, you could dump it over your head. That feels good. And make sure, just, comfortable shoes. You don't want to be out here in high heels or dress shoes or anything like that. And I always see people in their fancy. I know we're like all sneakerheads in this modern world or whatever, but oh man, your feet can get muddy and your shoes can get destroyed quick in every national park. So keep that in mind. And as always, bring a camera. If not your cell phone or a bigger camera, bring a camera. All right. So the secret is kind of right in front of you, and that would be to do the entire loop. There are some people who do the entire loop. It is about 8, 9 miles long. So keep that in mind. I do have another guide about that as well, but it is for sure a commitment and a lot more challenging. And there's a part that requires a little bit of scrambling too, but it's absolutely amazing. There's a ton more arches you get to see. You get to explore the park more. You go over by Dark Angel, which is this beautiful kind of spire that towers up above you. That's really cool. So you could do the whole loop. The other thing is, remember, go really early in the morning or really like kind of later in the evening. But if you do go later in the evening, bring a headlamp. All right, real talk. Is this hike worth it? Absolutely. This hike is absolutely amazing. I would say the whole loop is incredible, but again, that's a lot more challenging, and you do want to think about that before you go. But as far as Landscape Arch, absolutely incredible. At least the out and back to Landscape Arch, if you can skip everything else, it's absolutely incredible. Not too bad a hike and super beautiful. Highly recommended, although can be quite popular, so keep that in mind as well. If you're already in this area, a few other things I'd recommend. Skyline Arch is pretty cool. I actually really like Sand Dune Arch. That's a really short hike, maybe like 15 minutes total. It's really cool too. I like Sand Dune Arch. You get in this like really narrow canyon, absolutely beautiful. But also Delicate Arch. Delicate Arch is absolutely amazing. Highly recommended. If you're in this area for a couple days, make sure to explore Canyonlands National Park, perhaps Corona Arch. There's all sorts of amazing hikes in the Moab area, depending how much time and how fit or able to hike you are. So keep that in mind. So basically, 3 arches, 1 mile, and still a story being written in real time. Who knows when this thing would collapse? So if you want to see Landscape Arch, please come do this hike. If you want to see what's beyond it, check out my Devil's Garden Loop guide. I've got several guides for most of the major trails in Arches plus Canyonlands and a ton of stuff around this greater area. So would love to see you subscribe, and I'll see you out on the trail.